Welcome to the Rival Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Neal, and I'm joined by Bruce. What up, Bruce?
What's going on, man?
What's up, man? We're going to be bringing the listeners, the viewers, a new episode every week covering the games that just finished. We'll look ahead some to next week. We'll splash in a little bit of data, a little bit of film, a lot of narrative. You know, I love narrative, Bruce.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
That's my spot right there. But
no analytics, just narrative. Just narrative.
Exactly. It's much more fun that way.
Yeah.
We'll keep the episode shorter, to the point. The fantasy topics that we feel are important, rather than dragging on and on for hours, we'll just keep these short and to the point. Before we get into football, man, everything good on your side?
Everything is good, man. Football's back. I'm happy. I got like 12 fantasy football teams. I might be winning a couple of them, so it's going good. How about yourself?
Yeah, same thing, man. Tons of leagues. I think this week, if I recall correctly, I think I only had one that's really like banking on today that I could potentially win there if Judy does a little bit more. But I think I lost. I might have lost one game this week. It's my Scott Fishbowl, so it sucks. But we'll see how the rest plays out. Other than that, man, it's been a good day. Busy. My son just he had his first soccer game today. He scored 3 goals, so I'm on a high note right now. So figured carry that into the episode. The good energy.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's get into it.
All right. Just for the listeners and the viewers, since this is the first time we're doing this, the players we discuss, the context we discuss them in, it's all going to like vary. We know that people, listening or watching may be fantasy managers with different scoring different type of scoring, different size rosters. I'm not going to be biased to that. Bruce isn't going to be biased to that. We don't have any, particular lane that we're shooting this advice for. So whether you're in a, standard league scoring 10 manager league, or you're playing in leagues with crazy roster sizes and scoring, that me and Bruce actually participated a few of those together, or even if you're just playing daily fantasy, like this conversation we had, the debates we had, the players we discussed, it's not going to be biased towards any specific league. So anyone can be able to enjoy this. That's the way we're doing this, Bruce.
Sounds like a plan, man.
All right. So let's just jump straight into this. Like I said, we're going to be, quick hitting. No reason to like drag the conversation on to all different things and stretch it out. Let's go straight into, we're recording this during Monday Night Football, so we won't have that game, it's not finished. So we can't really throw a lot of those players into the conversation. But for surprises of the week that you had for week one, that's basically over at this point, who surprised you? It could be one player, 2 players, however you're feeling.
Yeah, that's an easy one. I think James Robinson. I think the fact that he came out and he got the bulk of the carries. I mean, he basically was running crazy, and he came off the Achilles injury, and he looked good. He looked really good. So I think he surprised me the most. What about you?
Yeah, no. Well, staying on that, part of it's surprising because you thought ETN was going to take the job and just run with it, right? Yeah. So I see where you're saying with that. And a lot of people didn't feel, I guess, after that injury, how comfortable they were with James Robinson. But he's a guy, man, that it's like, it's nice to see. It's refreshing to see a guy like him who never gets tons of praise thrown on him. He was just underrated since the day he entered the league. And here he is still just, pushing along and being productive. It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. Like over the summer, I think everyone was really pushing the narrative that Travis Etienne was going to be the guy. He was going to be playing all 3 downs. But listen, Etienne, he is definitely not that guy in terms of like an every down back. He's not going to be running between the tackles. He's going to be that 3rd down back. He might get some play, a couple of first downs or a couple of the early down work. But it's the James Robinson show, man. I think in Jacksonville.
And, Travis is a good player. He's talented, and they'll figure out ways to get him involved. Hey, I'm a fan of offenses that don't necessarily have to stick to one guy and act like that's the only way to win. They're mixing it up, and that's good to see for the Jaguars, man.
Yeah. I love the positive vibes out of Jacksonville right now.
Yeah,
I think it's flown over with James Robinson. They got rid of Urban Myers. They got the new coach in there. They got some new players in there. They got a bunch of new receivers. So yeah, I like what they're doing, and I think James is kind of like the icing on the cake. How he started out week 1. So I hope he keets it going.
Yeah, getting Urban Meyer out there was bigger than I think most people believe. Especially for narratives, Bruce.
For sure.
Yeah. So if I'm going to pick a surprise this week, I'm actually going to go with the quarterback position, and it's Carson Wentz. Mostly because I don't have Carson Wentz in any leagues. I didn't really, I didn't get too hyped up about him or too low on him. I'm just kind of on Carson Wentz. But he came out there. I know it's the first week and things are sloppy and interceptions are, happening everywhere. People are getting sacked left and right. But Carson Wentz was the first one scoring touchdowns. He was looking good out there. I think he had the most touchdowns at the end of the week besides Mahomes. So I mean,
yeah, and Mahomes had 5. But
yeah. So Carson Wentz had 4. He had that offense just in general looking legit, like players all over. It wasn't like he was, kind of like Mahomes. He wasn't on one guy. It was everywhere. I mean, he was spreading the ball around. And Carson Wentz, man, like depending on who you ask, he gets a bad rap or he deserves it. I mean, however you want to look at it. But I was surprised.
Yeah. I think a lot of folks left Carson Wentz for dead. I mean, given what he did that last game of the season for the Colts last year, I mean, a lot of folks wrote him off, and here he is. Which it just goes to show, you can't count guys out. They keep battling, keep working, and he's in a good spot. He's in a good spot in Washington. They got weapons. You just hope that he doesn't revert back to the old Carson Wentz, the turnover machine, making bad decisions. But I mean, if he keeps it up, everyone knows that the NFC East is pretty weak this year. So if he keeps it up, I mean, the sky's the limit for where Commanders can go in the division.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like the idea, like I said, that it was multiples of weapons being used, different players being used. It wasn't like, it relied on one guy in the offense. So it feels good. I mean, we'll see, like you said, if it continues that way, if he can keep it consistently. But if you're in a league where your quarterback just got hurt and someone like Wentz is available because you're in a league that kind of guy is available in the waivers, or if you're in a deeper league and you're starting 2 quarterbacks, I mean, he just made himself, at least feel for now like a legitimate quarterback that you can, rely on to get you some points. So I was surprised for sure. If you got surprises, you also have players that potentially you're overreacting about, right? So whether it's in a positive way or whether it's in a negative way, there's guys that, and week 1 is infamous, right, for overreaction. And even as fans, not even from a fantasy perspective, but just your team loses or your team crushes somebody and you're either super high or you're super low about it. I'll go first with this, actually. My biggest overreaction that I came away with, and it's something I actually feel, and I don't want to feel this way because the guy has proved over and over again that he belongs, in the Hall of Fame and that he belongs in the top echelon of quarterbacks. But Aaron Rodgers, man, Aaron Rodgers had a bad week. And I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers isn't start worthy. I'm not saying drop him. I know I've seen people even say that, as crazy as it sounds. I'm just more comfortable saying that, and maybe I'm overreacting, that Aaron Rodgers will not finish in the top 10 this year at quarterback. I think he's outside the top 10, and I'm more comfortable at 11 or through 13. You know what I mean? Than the top 10.
Top 15.
So yeah, so I feel like he's not a top 10 quarterback this season. I just don't think the weapons are there. There's a lot more quarterbacks with better situations, better guys to throw the ball to. And while Aaron Rodgers is one of the most talented quarterbacks we've ever seen, I just think losing Devontae Adams, not getting a surefire, wide receiver target for him to rely on is going to affect the guy, man. And of course, things will get better. The rookies will get better. He'll get more comfortable. But I just feel like I'm okay. And hopefully I'm not overreacting. But if it to many will probably be an overreaction by me saying he's outside the top 10. How do you feel about that?
You know what? I don't think that's an overreaction at all. I think the Vikings are definitely better on defense, but they shouldn't have been the team that shut Aaron Rodgers down. I do think that you saw what everyone believed was going to happen when Aaron Rodgers doesn't have like a legit wide receiver 1 weapon. I mean, Lazard was obviously out, and Romeo Doubs was his number 1 receiver. So I think maybe when Lazard comes back, he'll probably have a bounce back game. But I mean, I don't think it's an overreaction to say that he won't finish the year as a top 10 quarterback. So
there's just so many good quarterbacks. There's so many good weapons out there for these quarterbacks. His situation just, even if he plays well, like how good can these guys actually help him finish the year? I mean, Watson dropped that catch for the touchdown. It was a gigantic catch he dropped. And I mean, again, I know these guys are going to get better, and I know it's not going to continue to be that way, hopefully. But I just feel comfortable saying that I may be overreacting, but Aaron Rodgers outside the top 10 for me.
I got a question for you though. Who do you think finishes the year higher, Justin Fields or Aaron Rodgers?
Man, I think I'm going to go with Rodgers.
Yeah,
because I'm not crazy about Fields' weapons either. You know what I mean? So
fair.
I'm gonna have to go with the Hall of Famer for now.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll have to see what happens then. Okay.
Do you not agree?
You know what? Surprisingly, I think and I think Justin Fields could have been one of my surprise picks, but
Yeah,
I really like what I saw from Justin Fields in that game. He was
yeah,
making plays. He was running the ball. I feel like if you want to be like, the whole Konami quarterback thing, if you can run the ball, you can score points. So you don't
yeah.
have to put up a lot of points through the air. If he runs for 50, 60 yards a game, maybe throws for a touchdown. I think, that could put him in that stratosphere of like top 10 quarterbacks. So
Yeah, and you like the energy at the end of the game, them all sliding in the
I
ring and
love it.
stuff.
Yeah.
Felt good, man. It felt
I
good for
love
them.
it. I love it. The fact he did in a monsoon. It was, so,
It looked
so
great.
let's see what he does when the weather is actually nice. And, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So who do you have for an overreaction, or what team or player? I mean, where are you
Ooh.
going with this one?
Okay. This might be a surprise overreaction, but it's still an overreaction, I think. The Titans. You come out and you lose to the G-Men. Listen, they're my team. That's my heart. but you can't come out and lose to the Giants in Tennessee. No, you just can't do it. I mean, I watched that game, and it looked like the Titans had control of the game for the most part, and then they just let it slip away. They did an end around sweep, or they tried to do some kind of jet sweep with the rookie tight end instead of just giving the ball to the king,
Derrick Henry.
to
Yeah.
Derrick Henry. I was gonna say Travis Henry, but yeah, to Derrick Henry. So when you start making decisions, like you start overthinking it, and I think that the fact that they lost to the Giants, right? That's definitely not a good omen.
Right.
And then the fact that up next they got the Bills, they got the Raiders, they got the Colts. They could start the year 0-4. And if they start the year 0-4, we could be watching, the start of the Malik Willis start clock. So, the countdown it could begin. So we'll see.
I actually like this, man. I like this. I honestly, I mean, like most fans, I think most fans want to see Malik Willis play, right? Like this dude. I mean, in preseason, he looked great.
Yeah.
You said Konami quarterback earlier about Fields. I mean, this guy is the definition of it. If he can bring it all together and make it happen. This is the thing when you draft a quarterback like that is everyone's itching to see the guy play. Like, and there's no shade to Ryan Tannehill. Like he is what he is. But when you get an exciting guy like Willis sitting there, it's like it's hard to not be excited and anticipating when that happens, right? I mean, obviously Titan fans don't want to hear what we're saying right now. They don't want to hear this. They want to win games. But you put the Giants omen on them, man. I mean,
listen, man.
As a Giants fan, you're calling it an omen.
Yeah, listen, Daddy Dimes, he led the Giants. Saquon looked like old Saquon. That was crazy. He looked like Saquon at 2018, which is even wilder. So, man, I think, listen, if they come out and they start 0-4 and then they lose to the Commanders, I think that's the 5th game. They lose to the Commanders and then they got to play the Colts again. Yeah, it could be a wrap. It could be a wrap. It could be a wrap for them.
It'll be bad news for Titan fans, but it'll be great for the rest of us.
Exactly.
I think he's gonna be good for them. And I know he's a work in progress for a lot of people, but I think he's gonna be good. I really do. And hey, I don't know, man. Ryan Tannehill is a good quarterback, but when you have a guy waiting in the wings that you believe can be potentially superstar, I don't know how long you wait, man.
You can't hold him back, man. You can only hold him down for so long.
Gone are the days that you let quarterbacks sit forever. You know what I mean?
Those days are gone. Those days are gone.
So yeah, I'm with you on that overreaction. I would like to see it. Like I said, I don't want to see the Titan fans, losing all these games, but the closer we get to Willis, the more excited I am too. So I'm here for that. Yeah. Here we are, man. Talking about a Hall of Fame quarterback, a rookie quarterback. We'll see who's overreacting. We'll see. By the time you're talking about, week 5, some of these overreactions may be realities, man.
You're right. You're right.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers may be outside the top 10. Malik Willis might be starting. Who knows? I mean, I'd like to see them at least get him involved and give him some plays. I don't know.
I see, but I don't know if that's really the Titan way to like kind of mix in the quarterback. I feel like with Vrabel, they're very old school. They're gonna stick with Tannehill until things go sideways. So I mean, I'm hoping. I want to see Malik Willis. I want to see him out there. But I think it's gonna take either an injury or like Tannehill just has to they just got to lose. But I mean, I don't wish them to lose, but
right.
Yeah, I do want to see Malik Willis, so we'll see what happens.
All right, cool. So we talked about surprises from week one.
Yep.
We talked about overreactions from week one.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing it really leaves us with, as far as week one is concerned, is disappointments. And again, it's week one. It's messy. It's nasty. There could be a lot of disappointments. There could be, tons of them. And like I said, when we talk football here on the show, we're talking about it from any perspective we feel like in the moment. So it could be a fantasy disappointment. It could be, your favorite team. Wow, you guys won, so ain't too much to be disappointed about.
Yeah.
So I mean, there could be all kinds of ways you could take this. But I'm gonna let you start.
Okay.
Like I said, you could have one, you can have a bunch of them. However you want to approach this, Bruce. What is your disappointment for week one?
Damn, I gotta say my biggest disappointment was Cam Akers. I mean, I think I should have saw it coming. We all should have saw it coming. He wasn't practicing. He missed pretty much most of the preseason. He finally got into practice like the week before. I felt like he just wasn't ready. He got out there and just didn't look like he was ready to play in the game, and he lost all the carries to Henderson. But I think that I'm disappointed in the fact that it wasn't like he was like he looked slow because he kept getting hit in the backfield. But there were I saw some video clips of him just missing block assignments. He just wasn't like picking up the blitz, picking up his blocks. And I think those are the things that will keep you on the bench and keep you losing carries.
For sure.
So I would say, even beyond the whole Achilles thing, that I think that Cam Akers is definitely my most disappointing player
of week one. Let me ask you this. Do you think, although he's a disappointment for you in week one, do you have faith that Cam Akers has, positive moments ahead of him, positive production ahead of him, even just this season, if you want to talk from this season? Or do you feel like if you have Akers on your team right now, or, are you the guy right now who's trying to find the guys who have Akers on their roster and trying to trade thinking, hey, the wheels have fallen off for them? Or are you the guy who has Akers and you're like, I'm trying to get out from this if I can with anything?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think if I'm the guy who doesn't have Akers, I might be trying to approach the manager who has Akers on the team to see if they're panicking, see if they want to sell.
Right.
Maybe you can buy low. I think it's a good buy low opportunity. But if I'm the Akers owner, I'm not selling. I think. Yeah. I mean, unless the deal is good, but I'm not going to sell on the low. I think that Akers, you almost have to give him another week or two in order to see if he can basically knock off the rust and really. And listen, worst case, if this continues and we see that Henderson is the lead dog, and they start giving was it Kyron Williams more snaps? I don't know. I know he got hurt, but I'm not sure the severity of the injury. But if he starts getting snaps, then you can just cut him. You can cut Akers and you can move on. But I would keep him because the upside is too great, and he could be a league winner when he's healthy, and that offense gets it right, because that offensive line looked terrible last Thursday. So
and I ask that because these are the moments that while we're having these conversations about these players, whether it is the surprises or the overreactions or the disappointments, whatever it is, this is when, if you're listening or you're watching, like, you don't know. You have to know the other league managers in your leagues that how they feel about these guys. What kind of manager they are. Are they the kind that panics early? Are they the kind that is willing to wait on guys and be patient? And you have to take advantage of those opportunities. You know what I mean? So whether the guy who's willing to buy Akers and you're trying to move him, whether it's the guy who you're trying to get him from, these are your moments. If we're talking about them as a disappointment or a surprise, like, that means a lot of other people may be feeling that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's good to know the league managers who are impatient, who are panicking, who are trying to, because you see it everywhere. Just like we overreact with the games themselves in fantasy and the points, everything. There's managers and leagues who are also overreacting and freaking out. So you got to take advantage of these kind of moments. You know what I'm saying?
100%. I mean, what about you? You got any disappointments from?
Yeah, for sure. Well, unlike you, I mean, I wouldn't be myself if I didn't mention the Raiders and
I knew it.
how disappointed I am just with that loss, right? Also disappointed in Derek Carr. As you know, I have him in a lot of leagues. I use him in a lot of places. I have faith in my team. Maybe a little too biased on my own team, but
might be too much.
But he was out there forcing too many throws, man, making bad plays. The O-line doesn't help, of course, and it's a new offense, and he's trying to get familiar with guys. But seeing him give up that ball 3 times to the defense definitely didn't make me feel good. Didn't give me a happy feeling on Sunday.
You didn't give any warm vibes?
Nah, I didn't get any. I mean, I got warm vibes every time Devontae Adams caught the ball because it was looking sweet out there for Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
But if I have to talk about a particular player, not on my Raiders, it was Isaiah Likely, the rookie tight end for the Ravens.
Yeah.
I know he's a rookie, and I know it's only one game, but I did start him in a league or two. I was hoping that, man, this guy he was on fire in the preseason. The Ravens know how to use tight ends. The Ravens need, receiving targets. And I was just hoping, like, I was thinking to myself, how can this guy not possibly squeeze me in a touchdown in the week 1 game, or just give me 10 points, something solid. Or
anything.
I'm in a lot of tight end premium leagues too, so I'm thinking, hey, this guy can get out there and give me some sneaky points out there. But instead, he has 4 targets, caught none of them. I'm not disappointed in the sense of like I'm going to drop him, or I don't want to I'm not going to get crazy with it, but I am disappointed, and I need to temper my expectations for him a little bit. I was hoping for like 10 points out of him. But,
I mean, it's week 1. I got caught up in the Likely hype. Also, not gonna lie, I think I had one of my teams that had to decide between Irv Smith and Likely, and I was like, damn, I think I just got to go Likely. I feel like, and Irv actually didn't do anything this week 1, so I guess it was a net neutral for both.
Yeah, for leagues that we're in, where we have like 2 tight end starters and the leagues are deep. Like, I mean, you might have to just start a guy like Likely anyway, depending on the tight end room that you have on your lineup.
Yeah.
But in leagues where you only start 1 tight end and maybe you have him in a vet, like you said, it's when you have a guy like that. That's why they're dangerous, man. Like, it's hard to like put down and bench that like potential. You know what I mean? You're like, man, like this might be the week. And you want to be the guy starting him when he goes off first time. You know what I mean? You want to be like, I knew it was coming. You know what I mean? So it was a disappointing week 1.
It was disappointing, but he is a rookie. So he's gonna have these moments where like he's gonna be volatile. 1 week he could do absolutely nothing. Another week he can get you some points. I think Likely the reason why I really like him is because the obstacles for him becoming a top 10 tight end, if anything happens to Mark Andrews, there you go, boom. Boom. He's that guy. And
there's a lot of good paths for him.
Exactly. It's a shorter path. It's an easier path for him to get there. I mean, they already don't really have that many targets. Devin Duvernay, come on.
He did all right. He did
all right. But is that gonna be an every week thing?
We'll see.
Maybe. I don't know. I doubt it. Rashad Bateman, I love Rashad Bateman. But after that, I mean, it's really Likely and a bunch of other guys. So
especially while the running backs are a mess, they're all injured, and it's kind of like just crazy. I was thinking, what better time than now? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We'll see. I'll stay steady with it. I'm not going to give up. I'm just a little, it's that thing where your parents say, I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed. And that's how I feel right now. I'm not mad at you. I'm just a little disappointed.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about everything in week 1 that stood out immediately to us, that got us emotional, that the narratives and all this stuff that we had to get off our chest for week 1, which again, it's messy, it's chaotic, so it's easy to find problems, it's easy to find surprises, but let's look ahead now. I want to look ahead to week 2, some waivers, some predictions. For the waivers, we could throw out a few of them. I'll let you start with the waivers. Just like I said, however you want to handle this, we're going to keep, adjusting these things as we go, but just some guys that you feel like, and again, I always want to mention, viewers, listeners, they may not be in deep leagues. They may be in deep leagues. So we're going to give waivers that are for people who are in deep leagues, possibly sometimes. Sometimes you're just in, standard leagues, and maybe you have a lot of good players on waivers, but it's not too crazy. But we're always going to try to look a little deeper than the obvious surface. But who do you have for some week 2 waivers?
I think the person or the person I'm going to be targeting on waivers is Kyle Phillips. I really like what he did. I mean, obviously, I was watching the game, and he looked good. I mean, he made a few mistakes on the field. I think he dropped a couple passes, but he got like 10 targets. Yeah. you get. That's the opportunity is when opportunity meets skill. That's when success happens, right? So I think you got to really look at Kyle Phillips as someone who you should be targeting. I mean, Robert Woods didn't do anything, this past week. Treylon Burks is still a rookie. I guess that Kyle Phillips is also a rookie too, but but I think the role that he plays in that offense, he gets open, he's shifty. He fits the stereotype of the shifty receiver, I think that they don't really have that many other weapons that they can go to, and I think he fills the role well. So I think Kyle Phillips is a receiver that I'm going to be targeting. I mean, there's a bunch of other guys that I'm looking at, but I think he's the main one. So
he's your priority, and that's an interesting guy, because like you said, I mean, he wasn't one of the talked up guys, the main focus points of the receivers that people were thinking about, and then he has this good week, and now you're in that position where you're like, okay, if you're in a league where you're spending budget, you're like, do I apply a lot for this guy? Is it a 1 week thing?
Yeah.
So it's one of those guys where if you have space on your bench, you add a guy like him, and you're dropping probably a guy who you weren't that confident in the first place or didn't do anything, so it makes sense. Was there a bunch of other wide receivers that you felt were worthy to put behind Phillips on your priority list?
Yeah, I had my list consists of Kyle Phillips. I mean, obviously Kyle. I mean, there was a Jeff Wilson. Obviously, is someone who I'm going to be looking at, considering with the injury to Elijah Mitchell.
Right.
I really like what I saw from Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel truthers rejoice. He finally actually he's healthy. He's out there. No groin injuries, no hamstrings. So if he can stay healthy, I mean, they were scheming him up to get in place. The Commanders were getting in place. So I think he's probably going to be the top waiver priority for most people. I think going into
we're talking about a guy who, like you said, is healthy.
Yeah.
People always believed in the talent.
Oh yeah.
And he's in a system now with a coach who's familiar with him and knows how to use him.
And exactly.
It could be the perfect storm for Curtis Samuel. You know what I mean?
This could finally be.
And we mentioned Carson Wentz earlier, who figured out a way to make him productive and make it work. So he believes in Curtis Samuel. So I hear you on this one.
Yeah. This could finally be his year. I also like what I saw from. It was really just one highlight, but I really like Garrett Wilson. It was he had this one play where basically he caught the ball and made like 3 guys miss. I mean, it was just like boom, 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 boom. Now I think the Jets offense is probably going to struggle for the next few weeks because Flacco is a statue in the pocket. So he's going to be a sitting duck. But I think Garrett's someone to watch. I mean, who's going to stop him from ascending? Corey, was it Adams?
Listen, I'm personally an Elijah Moore guy.
Okay, so, I love Elijah Moore. Yeah.
So I like him more, but I mean, there are a couple wide receivers in New York, but obviously Garrett Wilson has a hype train behind him, and rightfully so. So yes, I'm hearing you on that one.
Yeah. What about you? Who are some waiver wire targets that you're looking at?
You be honest, man. You spoke about a lot of the wide receivers here and a lot of the guys who have stood out this week and who are worthy of ads. I was kind of thinking along the lines of the running backs, and I was thinking more of the guys who are quote unquote backups or handcuff running backs that are worthy of waiver ads. Again, depending on the leagues that you're in, whether these guys are even available. But I'll throw in Herbert. in Chicago. I loved him
Herbert,
before this week. I loved him last year when he got to start, and so he's a big time ad for me. Well, actually, I have him in a lot of spots too, but yeah, he's a big ad.
You know who has Herbert in our dynasty league, right? Come
I'm
on, man.
assuming you, Bruce, you, this guy.
Let's make a trade. Let's make a trade.
We'll have to look at that.
Right.
I also like Hilliard.
Yeah,
he looked good out there. Pacheco and KC. I mean, these guys are all, again, quote unquote backups. I use quotations here, and handcuffs, which people hate in fantasy. But what I loved the most was, even as backups, even as getting the limited, part of the offense at parts of the games, or just that's because that's how they're put into the play calling. But they produced, man. They produced with the workload that they received at a high level, and they look good on their own. So I'm not even referring to if a player gets hurt in front of them, the starter. I'm even saying just as they are, they're flex worthy guys.
Interesting.
So I like them all. And again, depending on your league size, depending on what format you're in, these guys may or may not be available, or maybe it's something you're forced to trade for. But I'm a believer in these guys. Not just from their week 1 production, but I just believe overall, moving forward, that they're worth having. Whether you're in dynasty, redraft, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with you. I think those guys, especially, I really love Herbert. I try to contain my Herbert love.
But you're trying to trade him to me.
What's that?
Now I know the price is too high. You're trying to trade him to me.
Nah, listen, you made me an offer, man. I can't refuse if you got him. Yeah, no, but I agree. I think those are some solid guys to target. And I do think with the season, now that we have like 17 games, 18 games, 18 games, one bye.
17. Yeah.
Yes, 17 games. I think it's even more important to know who the backup, quote unquote backup running back is, but who has standalone value. I think it's even more because guys, the guy's gonna get injured, especially these running backs. They play like maybe 15 games per year, right? So there's gonna be that window where a guy like Herbert or whoever is gonna step up and help win you a league. So I got a question for you. So no Jalen Warren love? You don't think he can step up?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's so many to mention here. You know what I mean? But these guys, I really do like their standalone value. And again, these guys are, injuries aside. You mentioned the season's longer. Running backs are already a rough position, but these guys just have, injuries or not, they have this good standalone value that I like, for flex players. Yeah. And I think their offenses make it a point to use them, because again, you're trying not to get your starter hurt, and to do that, you have to offset them with guys like these guys who, whether a starter gets hurt or not, I believe there's a lot of value there. And sure, the weeks may be inconsistent sometimes, but they can have some really explosive weeks and at least maybe a good floor.
Yeah, makes sense. Man, makes perfect sense.
All right, cool. So the last thing I want to do before we wrap this show up here is, I always like to end on some predictions, man. And it's easy to just make predictions, but let's go bold. Let's make something a little. Let's get a little risky, but not too crazy. Bold predictions. I have to believe they're realistic in some sense, but maybe a little crazy. Bold predictions for week 2. What? I'll even start with one. I probably have two that I want to share, but I'll start with one. Dotson. We keep talking about the Commanders' offense. I talked about Wentz. You talked about the team in general, Curtis Samuel, some of the guys on the offense. Jahan Dotson will be the best rookie wide receiver in week 2. And to make this even more bold, I think Dotson will finish the season as the best rookie wide receiver in fantasy football.
Wow.
I'm going there.
That's a pretty bold statement. Okay. I'm gonna say right now he has the lead in terms of the best rookie wide receiver for this current season, just based on his week 1 performance.
Right. Drake London looked pretty good.
But but I'm gonna say I can't knock that. I can't knock that bold call. I do think it's gonna be hard for him to I mean, he's definitely going to get the
pace?
target, but you still got Terry McLaurin there. You got Curtis Samuel there. I mean, even Antonio Gibson got into the act in terms of but I can see it. I can see that. I can see that being a good one. So I like it.
He's actually one of the wide receivers I targeted too. Like, going into the season, I was like, man, I felt like even though he was being talked about, I just felt like it's still not enough. It's still not enough because I like the situation he landed it in. I like his talent. I just thought, man, this is a little too underrated for me. You know what I mean? So I didn't start him. I wish I would have started him this week. I should have swapped in a flex position, likely in him.
Who'd you start over?
I think I had him in my Scott Fishbowl league, and I didn't start him there. But I made some mistakes for sure, which probably cost me this week. But just looking at that lineup, which I know for sure I had him in, I started at wide receiver over him. Let me see who I started, just because I'm curious now. This week I started Elijah Moore at wide receiver, T. Higgins, AJ Brown, and Michael Thomas.
Okay, all right. I can't be mad at that. That's the logic behind that makes sense. So I can see that. Yeah. Okay. All right.
I didn't get killed for it, but I wish I would have got him in there, man.
Listen, you got a bonus with Michael Thomas. I mean, I think most people probably let Mike Thomas sit for week 1 to kind of let him kind of prove that he's good to go.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, he came out.
And I did the opposite. I'm like, I drafted this guy. I had to have faith in the man. Let me just roll with it from the
I love it, man. I love it. It fits the narrative. Like, listen, let's let it ride, man.
Exactly.
Let it ride.
Exactly. So you give me a bold prediction for week 2.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
All right. So I got a bold prediction. I think Joe Herbert, Joey B. I think he finishes week 2 as the top as one of the top 3 QBs. I think he comes out guns blazing. I feel like Joey B, he feels like the kind of guy that holds like grudges, and he he just like thinks like, damn, I need to like make up for playing like garbage. He played pretty bad. I mean, to start the game against the Steelers, he played pretty bad. But I think he's going to come
4
out.
interceptions.
Yeah, that was bad.
Jeez.
Damn, that was bad.
He's killing me out there.
He killed me. I got him in one league, and he absolutely killed me.
I think next week he did try to fix it. He did try to fix it by the end of the game.
He did.
4 interceptions, man. That's difficult.
That's hard to come back from. I think Joe Burrow finishes the year as a top 5 QB. I feel like he finishes the year as a top 5 QB, and this coming week, he kicks off the Joe Burrow top 5 QB tour. So I think he kicks it off, and we'll see, man. I hope T. Higgins comes back from the concussion, though, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's a big thing, and how good is Jamar Chase, man?
Oh, my God. He makes it look so easy. Mm-hmm. Like, the Steelers know he's getting the ball. There's no one else who you can pass to. Actually, no one else. But they know he's getting the ball. They know it. What are you going to do? So
it's a beautiful thing to watch.
It's crazy. That's crazy. What about you? You said you had two predictions.
Yeah, one more I'm going to go with. And I know this is going to hurt a lot of people out there who had a lot of faith in this rookie running back, but my second bold prediction does not favor the rookie, and it's that Rex Burkhead will continue to be the more productive running back in the Texas backfield.
Damn,
Pierce was the new guy. I get it. He's getting all the love.
Yeah.
But the Texans are a young offense, like overall, right? And a vet like Burkhead, I feel like, is exactly, what the offense needs to keep it balanced, to keep it flowing. The coaches know it, and he just makes everything easier. I mean, we've seen him flourish in in New England, all these places, and so he's good anywhere he goes. You know what I mean? You throw him in a system and he makes it work. So I think they're going to continue to use him a lot more than people thought. I think he's a great, person to watch and study and learn from for Pierce. I think that's going to hurt a lot of people. I know a lot of people really liked Pierce. And when certain moves were made before the season started, they thought he was the go-to for sure, lock in. But I think my second bold prediction that I want to use going into week 2 is that Rex Burkhead will continue to outproduce him in week 2. But also I feel like this might be a trend all season.
Damn. I think you might be right again, man. I know, I don't want it to be right because I have a lot of Pierce I have a lot of shares in Pierce, so I'm hoping this is not the case. I'm hoping he comes out and like puts up some, some stronger RB1, low end RB1, high end RB2 numbers. But
Mhm.
I think you might be right. I think that offense, the way they play, Burkhead he's the guy they're gonna bring in when they start falling behind. And oh man, I think I made a mistake.
No, man, you didn't make a mistake, but it's just going to take longer than people expected, probably. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
and again, the NFL is so fluid that this could change in a second. But
Mm-hmm.
I just think when you get these rookie running backs, if you can, again, it's a young offense. I mean, young
Mm-hmm.
quarterback, some young wide receivers. You need these vets like Burkhead and Cooks and guys like that to like keep this thing, flowing at a good level. You know what I'm saying? And at least
Yeah.
early in the season, it's probably not too bold to say it, but I think it'll go this way the whole way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not to say that Pierce won't do well. I just
Yeah.
because I think the Texans offense is going to do better than people probably think, but I just think that Burkhead is going to be more of a problem than anyone really anticipated.
Where do you think Pierce finishes the year?
Man, I don't know overall.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Burkhead might even be kind of close when it's all said and done stat wise. But I just think that Burkhead will be a problem for him and for the people who are banking on Pierce to have a huge season.
I was one of those people, so
Herbert over Pierce.
Nah, I don't know about that. You know what? Honestly, I do think Herbert could finish the year with more fantasy points than Pierce. I think that's possible.
I should have just adjusted to that right away.
Yeah,
Herbert
there you
Pierce.
go.
Ruffle some rough feathers out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Any more bold predictions, or should we just wrap this thing up?
I got one more. I got one more bold prediction. Right. I think the Cowboys they're gonna make a play for Jimmy G.
Really?
I think so. I mean, listen, we know what Cooper was. A Cooper Rush, Cooper Cush.
Yeah, Cooper.
They
wish it was Cooper Cup. That's what they wish.
Cooper Cup. Yeah,
they're taking him at quarterback right now.
Oh my! Listen, they're gonna see Cooper Rush is gonna get out there, stink up the joint. They're gonna realize they need a quarterback, and they're gonna say, "Hey, San Fran, let's make a deal," and maybe Jimmy G shows up in Dallas. So yeah.
I mean, if you let Dallas tell it, they're not going to look to trade. I don't know about that though, man. Dak is out 6 to 8 weeks.
Exactly.
I don't know if the Cowboys can take 6 to 8 weeks of losing games, man. Like this is a real hit to like Cowboy fans and even just fantasy, managers and everything. Yeah. Like this sucks. I even have Dak in some leagues, and this year for some reason, I don't know why I went heavy into drafting Dak. I don't know what it was that. Yeah, I don't know what triggered me to do it, but I drafted him in a couple leagues, and it's disappointing that this happens. And hopefully, I can make it work. But I know what I won't be doing, and that's picking up Cooper Rush. Won't happen. So
leave Cooper Rush on the bench. Leave him on the waiver. Leave him as a free agent. Listen, if you need a quarterback this early in the season, your season's probably over anyhow. So
I'm not wasting my time with Cooper Rush.
Hell no.
So again, this is a situation where if you're in a league where somehow Cooper Rush and Carson Wentz were available and you had Dak, Carson Wentz ain't looking too shabby as a pickup right now. You mean again in a small league, where he's available. You know what I mean, this is the kind of stuff where I'm not picking up Cooper Rush. I don't give a damn how excited you were about the Cowboys offense before this. No. He ain't Dak. He ain't gonna be Dak. So, that's where I'm at with this one.
Listen, I'm gonna let somebody else in our super flex league pick him up. I'm not doing it. Won't do it. Not gonna waste any energy, time, fab on that guy. Not gonna do it. So.
Nah, that's not where I place my fab at. It's
Exactly.
I'm not going to be the guy who picks him up and like, all right, who wants to trade for him? Not happening either.
Actually, I'm that guy. I'm always that guy. Like,
yeah, you are.
I picked this guy to waiver. Does anyone want him?
No, not me. Not this time. Not that guy. If I had a little more faith in him, maybe. But okay. All right, man. So I mean that's it for me. That's it. Those are the important, major things that stand out. Like I said, we're going to try always to keep these episodes short, sweet, to the point. We're always going to bring up the most important narratives and the most important players and the biggest things that stood out to us, whether it's positive or negative. And we'll keep switching things up and keeping things fresh. If listeners have questions or anything like that they want to submit, they can feel free to hit us up at Rival Fantasy on Instagram, on Twitter, wherever it is. Just add us, DM us, follow us, however you want to do it.
Snap us.
Whatever you want to do. Just hit us up, and we'll for sure get to the questions or whatever topics you guys want to discuss. But Bruce, man, that's all I have for today. Is there anything else anyone you want to shout out? Anything you want to say? Any player you want to show love to before we end this broadcast?
Listen, I need Russell Wilson to go out here and perform. I need him to continue balling out. I need Javonte to do something. I need Rashad Penny to do something. So I got a few leagues that I'm basically hanging on by a string to see if I can win it out. So I need these guys to do something. So we'll see.
Yeah, so, I mean, where's the game at right now?
I think the game is the fourth. It's the fourth quarter, I think, and the score is 17-13.
All right, it's not.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, it's a close game. I was not expecting it to be this close. I will say that I was not expecting it to be this close, but it's
yeah. And just let's see really quick. 13-17 Seahawks, and we got Russell Wilson with over 300 yards passing and a touchdown. Jerry Jeudy over 100 with a touchdown, man. I needed that. I probably just won some games with that one. Yeah. Melvin Gordon with more rushing carries than Javonte, more yards.
That's a tough one to swallow. But you know what? I think we got to almost expect that to happen.
The only thing is Javonte, as we expected, reception-wise, he has 8 receptions for 51 yards right now. So as some people, as many expected, he's crushing in that regard.
Yeah, love it. If you're in a PPR league, yeah, he's definitely. If you're in a PPR league, I think Javonte is going to be. I think he's a top. I think he'll finish the year as a top 10 back.
Yeah, he's going to do really well. And then Geno Smith, 191 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rashad Penny leading with 60 yards.
Need some more.
But the guys who are scoring touchdowns in Seattle right now, Kobe Parkinson, Will Dissly. I mean, these are not DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. This is not what people expected.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
So that I'm sure many people are not happy about. But we'll see how that game ends. Maybe we'll talk about it next episode. We'll see. We'll see what we'll see what's relevant from it. Because there will be some narratives that we need to talk about. But that's it for today. Again, subscribe, like, review, do all them good things. Rival Fantasy Football Podcast. Bruce, we are out, my man.
All right, man.
Later.